Sit your black ass down, boy. Officer Stephen Blake doesn't lower his voice. 30 people hear every word. Harold Cooper freezes mid-sentence. I apologize. I was just nothing. You think you're special? You think you can talk whenever you want in my courtroom? Harold's voice stays soft. No, sir. Blake steps closer. Sorry doesn't cut it. You people come in here, disrespect the process, disrespect me. He grabs Harold's wrist, yanks hard. Harold stumbles forward, doesn't fight back. His face remains calm even as Blake twists his arm behind his back. The hallway. Blake drives Harold into the wall. Harold's cheek scrapes concrete. Stupid mother... Blake's knee digs into Harold's spine. Harold can barely breathe. He doesn't say a word. 48 hours from now, one phone call will make Stephen Blake wish he'd never touched this man. But right now, Blake thinks he owns this moment. 3 days earlier. Harold Cooper's plane touches down in Atlanta at 6:47 p.m. He rents a Camry, drives 2 hours south into small-town Georgia where the highway narrows to 2 lanes and the gas stations still have handwritten price signs. His mother lives in the same house where Harold grew up, white paint peeling on the porch. Garden gnomes his father bought 20 years ago still lining the walkway. Emma Cooper opens the door before Harold can knock. She's 68 but moves like she's 50, pulls him into a hug that smells like vanilla and laundry soap. You didn't have to come all this way for this foolishness. Harold sets his bag down. It's not foolishness, Mama. Mr. Patterson built that fence 3 feet onto your property. It's just a fence. It's your land. The next morning, Harold walks the property line with a tape measure. The neighbor's fence cuts clear across what should be his mother's vegetable garden. Patterson built it while Emma was visiting her sister in Alabama. When Harold knocks on Patterson's door, the man doesn't even open the screen. Your mama signed off on it. She didn't sign anything. Well, she didn't complain neither. Harold keeps his voice level. I'm asking you nicely to move it back. Patterson looks him up and down. And I'm telling you nicely to get off my property. That's when Harold decides to file in small claims court. Pro C, representing himself. The filing fee is $40. The court date comes fast. Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Wednesday night, Emma makes fried chicken. They eat on the porch while mosquitoes circle the bug zapper. You don't have to do this, she says. I know. You got important work up in D.C. This is just... Mama? Harold sets his plate down. This is important too. She studies his face. The same face she used to kiss goodnight when he was 7. When he came home from school crying because other kids called him names. When he decided he wanted to be a lawyer so he could fight back with words instead of fists. You always were stubborn, she says finally. Harold smiles. Wonder where I got that. Thursday morning he puts on his Navy suit. The one he wears for court appearances when he doesn't want to intimidate anyone. When he wants to look like just another guy trying to navigate the system. He leaves his Justice Department credentials in his rental car. His badge. His government ID, everything that says he's Assistant U.S. Attorney Harold Cooper, Civil Rights Division. Today, he's just Harold, son, neighbor, citizen. Emma stands at the door as he leaves. Be careful. It's just a small claims court, Mama. I know, but still. He drives to the courthouse, parks in the public lot. Walks up the steps where the concrete is cracked and weeds grow through the seams. Inside, the building smells like floor wax and old paper. A metal detector beeps as he walks through. The security guard, a white woman in her 50s, barely looks up from her phone. Harold finds the courtroom. 3rd floor, room 304. The door is already open. People filing in. He takes a seat in the back row, waits his turn. Watches other cases get called, a landlord dispute, an unpaid contractor bill, a car accident claim. When the clerk calls Cooper versus Patterson, Harold stands, walks to the front. That's when he sees Officer Stephen Blake standing near the judge's bench. Court security, arms crossed, eyes scanning the room like he's looking for trouble. Their eyes meet for just a second. Blake's expression doesn't change. Harold turns to face the judge, and that's when everything goes wrong. The judge is a white man in his 60s, reading glasses perched on his nose. He looks tired. Mr. Cooper, you're representing yourself? Yes, Your Honor. And this is regarding a property boundary dispute? Yes, sir. My mother's property at 412 Oakwood Drive. The defendant built a fence that, Your Honor, if I may. Patterson's lawyer stands. A man in an expensive suit. His watch catches the fluorescent light. This is a frivolous claim. Mrs. Cooper never objected to the fence placement. My client acted in good faith. The judge looks at Harold. Do you have documentation? Survey records? Harold reaches into his folder, pulls out a copy of the original property deed, a recent survey he paid for out of pocket, photographs of the fence. I do, Your Honor. If I could approach and show... Hold on. The judge holds up a hand. Let me see the defendant's documentation first. Patterson's lawyer hands over a thick folder. The judge flips through it, takes his time. Harold stands there, waiting. He can feel 30 pairs of eyes on his back, can hear someone coughing, the air conditioning rattling. After 2 minutes, the judge looks up. Mr. Cooper, I'm inclined to... Step back from the bench. Harold turns. Officer Blake is standing 5 feet away. I'm sorry, Harold says. I said step back. Blake's hand is on his belt, near his cuffs. Harold glances at the judge. Your Honor, I was just Officer Blake, he's fine. The judge waves a hand. Mr. Cooper, you were saying? Harold turns back to the judge, opens his mouth to continue. Blake grabs his arm. Hey! Harold tries to pull away on instinct. Not hard, just a natural reflex. Don't you pull away from me! Blake yanks Harold backward, hard enough that Harold stumbles. The courtroom erupts, people standing, the judge banging his gavel. Officer Blake, that's not necessary. Blake isn't listening. He's dragging Harold toward the door. Harold's folder drops. Papers scatter across the floor. Sir, I wasn't doing anything. Harold keeps his voice calm, keeps his hands visible. Shut your mouth. Blake shoves him through the doorway. Out in the hallway now, cinder block walls, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. 3 people walking by stop and stare. Blake spins Harold around, slams him face first into the wall. Harold's cheek hits concrete. His glasses fly off, clatter on the linoleum. You think you can come in here and disrespect me? Blake's breath is hot on Harold's neck. You think you're better than me? I wasn't... Harold can barely get the words out. Blake's forearm is pressed against his spine. I said, shut up! Blake drives his knee into Harold's lower back. Once, twice. Pain shoots through Harold's ribs. He gasps. Doesn't fight back. Every instinct in his body is screaming to defend himself, but he knows better. He's been trained. Not for this, but trained. Stay calm. Don't resist. Let it happen. Blake grabs Harold's wrists, yanks them behind his back. Metal cuffs click shut, too tight, cutting into skin. You're under arrest for disorderly conduct and resisting an officer. Harold's vision is blurry without his glasses. He can taste blood in his mouth, bit his tongue when his face hit the wall. Sir, please. His voice is barely a whisper. Please what? Blake leans in close. Please don't arrest you. Please let you disrespect my courtroom. Please treat you special. Blake spins him around. Harold can see now. 3 witnesses standing frozen. A woman with her hand over her mouth. A man recording on his phone. Blake sees the phone too. Doesn't care. You people never learn. He shoves Harold toward the stairs. Come on, let's go. Harold's legs barely work. pain radiating through his back, his wrists screaming from the cuffs. As they pass the courtroom door, he can hear the judge calling for order, can hear his mother's voice somewhere, panicked. "That's my son! That's my son!" But Blake keeps walking, down the stairs, through the lobby, out to the patrol car waiting in the back lot. Harold Cooper gets arrested for trying to help his mother with a fence dispute. And Stephen Blake thinks this is just another Tuesday. The video goes live at 2:17 p.m. The man who recorded it posts it on X with 3 words. "This is Georgia." By 3 o'clock p.m. it has 12,000 views. By 5 o'clock p.m. it's at 200,000. By 8 o'clock p.m. it's trending nationwide. Hashtag Justice for Harold. 2.3 million views. The video is 42 seconds long. Shaky footage, but clear enough. Blake slamming Harold into the wall, the knee to the spine, Harold's glasses flying off, his face pressed against concrete. And the audio. Crystal clear. "You people never learn." That line gets clipped, shared separately, played on loop, dissected, analyzed. Conservative accounts, context matters. We don't know what happened before. Progressive accounts. This is exactly what we've been talking about. Local news picks it up by 6 o'clock p.m. Channel 7 runs it as their lead story. Local man assaulted by officer during court hearing. They don't know Harold's name yet. Just a local resident attending a civil hearing. Harold doesn't see any of it. He's in a holding cell at Millbrook County Jail. They processed him at 11:30 a.m., took his wallet, his belt, his shoes, gave him a yellow jumpsuit that smells like industrial detergent. His ribs hurt. His wrists have purple bruises from the cuffs. There's dried blood on his collar from where he bit his tongue. He sits on a concrete bench and stares at the wall. 8 hours later, they let him make a phone call. He calls his mother. Emma Cooper has been crying for 6 hours. Her voice breaks when she answers. "Baby? Baby, are you okay?" "I'm fine, Mama." "They wouldn't tell me anything. I tried to follow, but they wouldn't." "I know. I'm sorry." "Sorry? You got nothing to be sorry for." Her voice rises. "That man attacked you. Everyone saw it." Harold closes his eyes, leans his forehead against the concrete wall. "Mama, I need you to call someone for me." "Who?" He gives her a number. His colleague, Rachel Morrison. Tells his mother to say he's fine. Just needs someone to handle bail. "Harold, why don't you tell them who you are? Tell them where you work." "Mama, they can't do this to you. You're a federal—" "Mama, please." His voice is firm, gentle. "Not yet. Just call Rachel." Silence on the other end. Then, "Okay, baby, okay." He hangs up, goes back to the cell, sits on the bench, waits. Outside, the firestorm grows. Reverend James Davis sees the video at 6:30 p.m. He's known Emma Cooper for 30 years. Knows Harold since he was a boy. Watched him graduate high school. Watched him go off to law school. He makes phone calls. By 8 o'clock p.m., there are 40 people outside Millbrook County Jail. By 9 o'clock p.m., it's 80. They're holding signs, chanting. No justice, no peace. The local news cameras multiply. Channel 7, Channel 11, CNN affiliate, Fox News affiliate. A reporter shoves a microphone at Reverend Davis. "What do you want to see happen?" "I want to see that officer arrested. I want to see justice." "Do you know the man who was assaulted?" "I know his mother. I know he's a good man who was trying to help his family. And I know what I saw on that video was an assault. Plain and simple." At 9:47 p.m., Police Chief Tom Bradley holds a press conference. He's in full uniform, 3 stars on his collar, American flag behind him. He looks directly at the camera. "This afternoon, an incident occurred at our county courthouse. I want to assure the public that we take all complaints seriously. However, it's important not to rush to judgment based on incomplete information. A reporter shouts, "Chief, the video shows your officer slamming a man into a wall." Bradley's jaw tightens. Officer Blake responded to a disruption in the courtroom. The individual in question refused to comply with lawful orders. Officer Blake acted within department protocol to maintain order and ensure everyone's safety. The man's glasses were knocked off his face. Sometimes force is necessary when someone resists. He wasn't resisting. It's on video. Bradley holds up a hand. Officer Blake is a decorated member of this department, 12 years of service. He has my full confidence. Now the individual has been processed and will be released pending a court date for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. The press conference ends. The crowd outside the jail doubles. At 10:15 p.m., Harold is released on his own recognizance. They give him back his wallet, his belt, his shoes. His phone is dead. Emma is waiting in the lobby. She runs to him, wraps her arms around him despite his wince when she touches his ribs. "Let's go home, baby." They walk out through a side door, but cameras find them anyway. Flashing lights, microphones. "Mr. Cooper, how are you feeling?" "Mr. Cooper, will you press charges?" "Mr. Cooper, what do you want people to know?" Harold keeps walking, head down, his mother's arm around his waist. They get to her car. She drives. Neither of them speaks for 10 minutes. Finally, Emma says, "I called your colleague, Rachel. She said she'd call you tomorrow." Harold nods. "She also said—" Emma pauses. "She said you should have told them." "Told them what?" "Who you are. What do you do?" Harold stares out the window, streetlights sliding past. Small-town Georgia, the town where he grew up, where he learned what justice was supposed to look like. "I shouldn't have to tell them who I am to be treated like a human being." Emma's hands tighten on the steering wheel. She doesn't argue, because she knows he's right, and she knows it won't matter. Chief Tom Bradley's phone rings at 8:47 a.m. He's drinking coffee, reading news coverage. The video has 6 million views now. His inbox has 400 messages, half from concerned citizens, half death threats. He picks it up without checking the caller ID. "Chief Bradley?" "Chief, this is the Pentagon Force Protection Agency." Bradley stops mid-sip. "I'm sorry, who?" "Pentagon Force Protection Agency. We're calling regarding Harold James Cooper. Processed through your facility yesterday. Is he still in custody?" Bradley's stomach drops. "No. Released last night. What is this about?" "Mr. Cooper's identification triggered an automatic alert during booking. Please hold for Department of Justice." The line clicks. Bradley stands. His chair scrapes. He's sweating. A woman's voice comes on. Professional. Cold. "Chief Bradley, this is Office of Professional Responsibility, Department of Justice. Are you aware of who Harold Cooper is?" "He was arrested for disorderly conduct and Harold Cooper is Assistant U.S. Attorney, Civil Rights Division. He prosecutes law enforcement misconduct. Your officer just assaulted a federal prosecutor on camera." The room tilts. Bradley sits down hard. "He didn't identify himself." "He doesn't have to. Preserve all evidence, body camera footage, booking records, everything. Do not delete or alter anything. Our team arrives today. You'll receive official notification within the hour." She hangs up. Bradley stares at his phone. His hand shakes. He dials Mayor Linda Foster. She answers immediately. "Linda, we have a problem." "I know. That video is everywhere." "Worse than the video. The man Blake arrested is a federal prosecutor, Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division." Silence. Then, "What?" "He prosecutes cops for doing exactly what Blake did." "Oh my God." Her voice drops. "Does Blake know?" "I don't know. Justice is asking the same question." "Tom, if Blake knew..." "I know. Get me Blake's personnel file." Every complaint. Everything. Now. Bradley hangs up, opens his laptop, searches the personnel database. Officer Stephen Blake. Hired 2012. He clicks the disciplinary record. 11 complaints. His hands shake harder. 11 complaints. All excessive force. All cleared by internal investigation. All signed off by Chief Tom Bradley. He clicks the names. Marcus Williams, black male, 2018. Rosa Hernandez, Hispanic female, 2019. James Brooks, Asian male, 2020. Deshaun Brown, black male, 2021. Every single one. People of color, every single one. Cleared. And now Blake just assaulted a federal prosecutor who specializes in this exact pattern. Bradley closes his laptop, puts his head in his hands. His career just ended. 40 miles away, Harold sits at his mother's kitchen table. His phone finally charged. 53 missed calls, 112 texts. The first call is from Rachel Morrison. He answers. "Harold, why didn't you tell me?" "Tell you what?" "That you were in Georgia. That you—" She stops. "The Pentagon flagged your military ID during booking. Justice knows what happened." Harold closes his eyes. "Rachel, you're a federal prosecutor who got assaulted by local police on camera. This isn't personal anymore." "I was handling it." "You can't handle it! You're the victim! You can't investigate your own assault!" Silence. Harold knows she's right. 15 years building cases. 15 years teaching officers they're not above the law. Now he's the case. "What happens now?" he asks quietly. Rachel's voice softens. "Now, we do what you've always done for everyone else. We get you justice." Harold stares at the kitchen table, the same table where he ate breakfast as a kid, where his father taught him to tie his shoes, where his mother told him he could be anything. He never wanted this, never wanted to be the story. But Stephen Blake made that choice for him. "Okay," Harold says finally. "Okay." Rachel exhales. "I'm flying down today. Don't talk to anyone until I get there." She hangs up. Emma walks into the kitchen, sets a plate of eggs in front of him. "Eat." Harold looks at the food. His ribs still hurt. His wrists still have bruises. "Mama, I'm not hungry." "I don't care. Eat." So he does. Because even when the world turns upside down, mothers still make breakfast, and sons still listen. Rachel Morrison arrives at 4:00 p.m. in a black SUV with 2 other attorneys from the Civil Rights Division. She's 45, sharp suit, sharper eyes. She's worked with Harold for 8 years, respects him more than anyone else in the office. Right now, she's furious. They set up in Emma's living room. Laptops on the coffee table, files spread across the couch. Emma brings sweet tea nobody drinks. Rachel looks at Harold, really looks at him. The bruise on his cheekbone, the way he winces when he shifts in his chair. "Walk me through everything," she says. Harold does. Every detail. The property dispute, the courtroom, Blake's reaction. Rachel takes notes, doesn't interrupt. When Harold finishes, she's quiet for 30 seconds. Then, "Blake's reaction was unusually aggressive, even for what we see in these cases." "I thought the same thing." Rachel opens her laptop, pulls up a file. "Harold, you've been monitoring Millbrook PD for 8 months. Separate case. Pattern investigation." "Yes." "Blake's name in your files?" Harold nods slowly. 11 complaints, all dismissed. Rachel turns the laptop toward him. "Look at this." It's Blake's disciplinary record, complaint after complaint. 2018. Marcus Williams, black male, age 19, traffic stop. Blake tased him. Williams wasn't armed, wasn't resisting. Complaint dismissed. Insufficient evidence. 2019. Rosa Hernandez. Hispanic female, age 32. Blake broke her arm during an arrest at a grocery store. She was accused of shoplifting a candy bar worth $1. Security footage showed she paid. Complaint dismissed. Officer feared for his safety. 2020. James Brooks. Asian male, age 47. Peaceful protest. Blake pepper-sprayed him directly in the face from 2 feet away. Brooks required hospital treatment. Complaint dismissed. Crowd control measures justified. 2021. Deshaun Brown. Black male, age 53. School board meeting. Blake dragged him out and tased him in the parking lot. Brown was speaking during the public comment period. Complaint dismissed. Disruptive behavior. 2022. Patricia Washington. Black female, age 61. Traffic stop for broken taillight. Blake slammed her against her car. Dislocated her shoulder. Complaint dismissed. Resisted arrest. 2023. Kevin Thompson. Black male, age 28. Welfare check. Blake entered Thompson's home without a warrant. Put him in a chokehold in his own kitchen. Thompson's 5-year-old daughter watched. Complaint dismissed. The officer felt threatened. 11 complaints total. All people of color. All dismissed. All investigations signed off by Chief Tom Bradley. Rachel closes the laptop. He knew, Harold. Knew what? Blake knew who you are. He had to. Harold shakes his head. How could he? Rachel's phone buzzes. She looks at it. Her expression hardens. We just got body cam footage from Blake's partner. The partner who was in the courtroom. She opens the video file, turns up the volume. The footage shows the courtroom from a different angle. Harold at the bench, Blake standing 6 feet away. Then Harold starts speaking to the judge. Blake leans toward his partner. His voice is barely audible, but the microphone picks it up. Watch this. Teach him a lesson. The partner responds. Blake, he's just... Blake interrupts. I know who he is. Rachel pauses the video. The room goes silent. Harold stares at the frozen image. Play it again. Rachel does. I know who he is. Harold's chest tightens. He knew. He knew. Rachel closes her laptop. Someone told him you were coming. Someone inside the department leaked your identity. Who? We'll find out. Over the next 3 days, Rachel's team works 16-hour shifts. They interview witnesses from the courtroom. 3 people saw everything. All 3 confirm Harold was calm, respectful, never aggressive. They pull Harold's monitoring files on Millbrook PD. The pattern is clear. 67 complaints over 5 years, 89% involve minorities, 3% result in any discipline. They request all internal communications mentioning Harold Cooper, and they start interviewing Blake's other victims. Marcus Williams comes first. He's 25 now, works at a hardware store, still has nightmares about the tasing. He sits in Emma's living room, tells his story. I was driving home from work. Blake pulled me over, said my tag light was out. I said, yes, sir, I'll fix it. He asked for my license. I reached for my wallet. He yelled, get out the car. I got out. He told me to turn around. I turned around. Then I'm on the ground and there's electricity shooting through my body and I can't breathe and I'm thinking I'm gonna die. Marcus's hands shake as he talks. I filed a complaint. They said I must have done something to make him scared. I'm 140 pounds. Blake's 220. But somehow I scared him. Rosa Hernandez comes next. She's 36 now. Her arm never healed right. He said I stole. I didn't steal anything. I paid for my groceries. I showed him the receipt. He grabbed my arm and twisted it, and I heard it snap. The sound. I still hear that sound. She lifts her sleeve, shows the scar from surgery. I can't lift my daughter anymore. She's 4. I can't pick her up when she cries. James Brooks, Patricia Washington, Kevin Thompson. One by one they come. One by one, they tell their stories. Every story has the same pattern. Blake escalates. Blake uses force. Blake lies in his report. Every time, Chief Bradley clears him. Rachel records everything, documents everything. On the fourth day, she gets the email records. Someone in the Millbrook PD IT department cooperates, sends everything requested and more. Rachel opens the file at 11 o'clock p.m. Harold and Emma are asleep. Rachel sits alone in the living room with her laptop. She finds it at 11:47 p.m. An email, sent 3 days before Harold's court date, from Officer J. Martinez to Officer Stephen Blake. Subject, FYI. Body, heads up, guy coming to court Thursday. Harold Cooper. He's DOJ. The one investigating us. Thought you should know. Sent. Monday, 6:23 p.m. p.m. Blake's response came 40 minutes later. From Officer Stephen Blake to Officer J. Martinez. Subject, FYI. Body, thanks, I'll handle it. Sent. Monday, 7:03 p.m. Rachel stares at the screen. Her hands are shaking. She picks up her phone, calls the lead investigator at Justice, wakes him up. We've got him, she says. Blake knew. He knew exactly who Harold was, and he assaulted him anyway. The investigator is silent for 3 seconds. Then, forward me everything. I'm calling the U.S. attorney tonight. We're convening a grand jury. Rachel hangs up, sits in the dark, thinks about Marcus Williams, Rosa Hernandez, all of them. Thinks about how many times they told their stories and nobody listened. Nobody cared, until Blake touched the wrong person. She opens her laptop again, keeps digging, finds another email. This one from 2 days before the assault. From Chief Tom Bradley to Officer Stephen Blake. Subject, Thursday. Body, federal prosecutor attending court tomorrow. Harold Cooper, civil matter. Be professional. Sent, Wednesday, 4:15 p.m. Blake's response. From Officer Stephen Blake to Chief Tom Bradley. Subject, Thursday. Body, always am. Sent, Wednesday, 4:22 p.m. Chief Bradley knew. He knew Harold was a federal prosecutor. He knew Harold was attending court. He warned Blake to be professional, and Blake did it anyway. Rachel prints everything, organizes it into folders, evidence A through Z. At 2 o'clock a.m., she finally closes her laptop, walks to the guest room where Harold is sleeping, stands in the doorway, watches him breathe. He's been fighting for people like Marcus and Rosa his entire career. 15 years of building cases, interviewing victims, stacking evidence, pursuing justice. Now he's one of them. But this time, the evidence isn't just strong, it's overwhelming. She goes back to the living room, opens her phone, starts drafting the memo that will end Stephen Blake's career. Outside, Millbrook sleeps, unaware that by morning everything will change, because Rachel Morrison has receipts, and she's not letting this go. The Millbrook Police Union calls a press conference at 10 o'clock a.m. Union President Dale Simmons stands at a podium, American flag behind him. 20 officers in uniform standing in rows, show of solidarity. Simmons is 58, gray hair, strong jaw. He's defended every officer who ever faced discipline. Officer Stephen Blake is a hero, 12 years of dedicated service. Not a single disciplinary action on his record. A reporter raises her hand. What about the 11 complaints? Simmons doesn't blink. All investigated, all unfounded. Officer Blake did his job. The video shows him slamming Mr. Cooper into a wall. The video shows Officer Blake responding to a disruption. Mr. Cooper refused lawful orders. Officer Blake did his job. Another reporter. Mr. Cooper is a federal prosecutor investigating your department. Simmons's expression hardens. Exactly. A prosecutor with an agenda. A man who's made a career attacking law enforcement. He came to Millbrook looking for confrontation. Are you saying Mr. Cooper wanted to be assaulted? I'm saying Mr. Cooper knows how to manipulate situations. He's a lawyer. He knows what sells on social media. The press conference ends. By noon, conservative media runs with it. Federal prosecutor with a history of targeting police. DOJ lawyer caught disrupting courtroom. Is this a setup? By 2:00 p.m., someone leaks Harold's criminal record. 7 parking tickets in D.C. over 10 years. 2 expired registrations. A right-wing blog headline. DOJ prosecutors' shady past revealed. By 4:00 p.m., anonymous accounts flood social media. Cooper was disrespectful in court. Blake is being railroaded. Why won't Cooper release his full arrest record? Harold sees it all, sitting in Emma's living room, scrolling his phone. Rachel tries to take it. Don't read that garbage. I need to see what we're dealing with. A smear campaign. It doesn't matter. But it does matter. That night, Harold's rental car gets keyed. Deep scratches across the hood. Both mirrors knocked off. Emma finds it in the morning. Harold stands in the driveway staring at the damage. Across the street, a neighbor he's known since childhood won't make eye contact. Pack a bag, Mama. Emma crosses her arms. I'm not leaving my house. Please, just for a few days. Baby, I've lived here 40 years. Harold's phone rings. Unknown number. He answers. Hello? Heavy breathing. Then a voice. Low. Male. You should have kept your mouth shut, boy. The line goes dead. Harold looks at his mother. Pack. Now. Emma sees something in his face. Something dangerous. Protective. She goes inside. Starts packing. 2 hours later, Emma is at her sister's house 30 miles away. Harold stays. Rachel's team sets up security cameras. That afternoon, pressure comes from inside justice. Deputy Attorney General William Preston calls. Harold's superior's superior. Harold, this situation is getting messy. Sir, I was assaulted. The evidence is clear. I know, but there's concern about optics. You're the victim and you've been investigating this department. That's a conflict. I'm not investigating my own assault. Rachel works for you. Defense will argue bias. Tainted investigation. Harold closes his eyes. What are you asking? Recuse yourself completely. Let another division handle it. This is my case. 8 months of work. And now you're part of it. You know this is right. You'd tell any other prosecutor the same thing. Silence. Preston's voice softens. You've spent your career fighting for integrity. Don't compromise that now. Step back. Let the system work. Harold hangs up. Sits alone in Emma's kitchen. Thinks about all the victims he's represented. All the times he said, trust the process. The system works. Now he has to trust someone else. Rachel finds him an hour later, still sitting at the table, staring at nothing. I'm recusing, he says quietly. Rachel sits across from him. Harold, it's the right thing. You know it is. It doesn't feel right. It never does. He looks at her. But that's not the point. The point is doing it anyway. That night, Harold drafts the letter. Due to my position as both victim and lead prosecutor in the ongoing investigation of Millbrook Police Department, I am formally recusing myself from all prosecutorial duties related to this matter. I have full confidence in my colleagues to pursue justice on behalf of all affected parties. He signs it, sends it to Preston, copies Rachel, then sits in the dark. Emma's house creaks, settles. He thinks about Marcus Williams, Rosa Hernandez, all the others who trusted him to fight for them. Now someone else has to fight for him. It feels like failure, even though he knows it isn't. Outside, a car drives past slowly, headlights cutting through the night. Harold doesn't move, just sits there, wondering if stepping back was strength or surrender, wondering if anyone will finish what he started, wondering if justice works when you can't fight for yourself. The house is silent. Harold stays awake, waiting for morning. Harold sends the recusal letter at 6 o'clock a.m., sits at Emma's kitchen table watching the sun come up, the same table where he ate breakfast as a kid, where his father taught him to read, where his mother told him he could be anything he wanted. He never wanted to be a victim. His phone buzzes. Text from Rachel. Received. I've got this. 3 words. They should feel reassured. They don't. Harold makes coffee. Burns his tongue on the first sip. Doesn't care. Just holds the mug and stares out the window at the garden his mother tends every spring. The fence that started all this is still there. Still 3 feet onto her property. He came here to fix a fence. Now his career hangs in the balance. At 9 o'clock a.m., he drives to the courthouse. Same building where Blake assaulted him. He parks in the same spot, walks up the same steps. Every muscle in his body wants to turn around. He keeps walking. Inside, a reporter recognizes him, shouts his name. Others swarm. Cameras, microphones. Mr. Cooper, why did you recuse yourself? Mr. Cooper, does this mean you're dropping the case? Mr. Cooper, are you afraid of retaliation? Harold keeps his head down, says nothing, pushes through to the clerk's office, files a motion in his mother's property case, asks for continuance due to circumstances. The clerk processes it without looking at him. Harold walks back out. The reporters are gone, moved on to another story. He stands on the courthouse steps, the exact spot where Blake dragged him out, where his glasses flew off, where 30 people watched and nobody stopped it. His phone rings. Unknown number. He almost doesn't answer. Hello? Mr. Cooper, this is Judge Franklin, from your hearing. Harold's grip tightens on the phone. Yes, Your Honor. I want you to know... The judge pauses. I should have stopped it. What Officer Blake did. I should have intervened immediately. I didn't. I'm sorry. Harold doesn't know what to say. I've submitted a statement to the Justice Department investigation, the judge continues. Officer Blake's actions were unprovoked and excessive. I should have said that from the beginning. I was scared of the union, of the backlash. But that's no excuse. Thank you, Harold manages. No, thank you, for not letting this go. The judge hangs up. Harold sits on the steps, right there in public, doesn't care who sees. He's exhausted, bone deep, not from lack of sleep, from carrying the weight of knowing that even with his credentials, his education, his position, he's still just another black man who got put in his place. And he had to step aside from his own case because the system he believes in requires it. A car pulls up. Rachel gets out, sits next to him on the steps. You okay? No. Good. You shouldn't be. They sit in silence. Finally, Rachel says, 12 more people came forward yesterday. Blake victims. People who were too scared before. They're not scared anymore. Harold looks at her. Because of what happened to me? Because you didn't back down. Even when they came after you. Even when they keyed your car and threatened your mother. You didn't back down. I rescue. You followed the rules. There's a difference. Rachel stands, offers her hand. Come on. We have work to do. I can't work the case. No, but you can help the victims. The ones Blake hurt before you. They need someone who understands. Someone who's been there. Harold takes her hand, lets her pull him up. Marcus Williams wants to meet with you, Rachel says. Rosa Hernandez, too. They want to know they're not alone. Harold nods slowly. Maybe that's what justice looks like sometimes. Not winning your own case, but making sure others can win theirs. They walk to Rachel's car. Harold looks back at the courthouse one more time, then gets in, lets Rachel drive. For the first time in days, he feels like he can breathe. Rachel's team expands to 6 attorneys by the end of the week. They take over a conference room at the Hampton Inn. Whiteboards cover 3 walls. Timeline, evidence, witnesses, a map of Millbrook with pins marking every Blake incident. Harold isn't allowed in the war room. Conflict of interest. But Rachel briefs him every evening. 23 witnesses now, she says on day 5. Not just Blake's victims. People who saw things, reported them, got ignored. 23? And counting. People are angry. They've been angry for years. They just needed someone to listen. The next morning, Harold meets Marcus Williams at a coffee shop. Marcus is nervous, keeps looking at the door, stirring his coffee without drinking. I didn't think anyone would believe me, Marcus says. When I filed that complaint, I thought maybe it was my fault. Harold shakes his head. It wasn't. Blake said I reached for something, said he feared for his life, but I didn't reach for nothing. I was scared, and when you're scared, you freeze up, and that makes them more scared. His voice trails off. I know, Harold says quietly. Marcus looks up. Do you? You're a lawyer. You're important. You're just as important as I am. Marcus stares at him. Blake didn't care who I was, Harold continues. He saw what he wanted to see. Same thing he did to you. Yeah, but you can fight back. We can fight back. All of us. Marcus is quiet. Then, you really think something's gonna happen? I do. Why? Because this time we have everything. Every piece of evidence. Every witness. And we're not letting go. That afternoon, Harold meets Rosa Hernandez. She brings her 4-year-old daughter. The girl plays with crayons while Rosa talks. My arm still hurts when it rains, Rosa says. But you know what hurts more? That he's still out there, still wearing that badge. Not for long. Rosa studies his face. You sound sure. I am. How? Harold glances at the little girl drawing a rainbow. Because I've seen what happens when good people don't give up, when the system actually works. Rosa nods slowly. By the end of the week, Reverend Davis organizes a community meeting. 200 people show up. Harold sits in the back. One by one, people stand. Tell their stories. Not just about Blake. About the whole system. Years of complaints ignored. Years of being told to comply, to keep quiet. No more, Reverend Davis says from the pulpit. No more silence. If they won't listen to one voice, they'll listen to 200. The crowd applauds. Harold watches from his seat. Sees Marcus, Rosa, 12 others he's met this week. Sees his mother standing near the front. Emma catches his eye. Nods. She's scared. But she's here. They're all here. For the first time since Blake slammed him into that wall, Harold feels something other than anger. He feels hope, small, fragile. But there, Rachel slides into the seat next to him, leans close. Grand jury convenes Monday, she whispers. We're ready. Harold nods, watches the community that raised him stand up, and realizes he's not fighting alone. He never was. Rachel calls Harold at 11 p.m. on Sunday. We found something. Harold sits up in bed. What? Grand jury subpoenaed all department emails mentioning your name. IT forensics recovered deleted files. Harold, Blake knew who you were before the assault. Silence. How? Email. Sent 2 days before your court date. From Officer J. Martinez to Blake. Subject line, FYI. Body says, heads up. Guy coming to court Thursday. Harold Cooper. He's DOJ. The one investigating us. Thought you should know. Harold's chest tightens. Martinez leaked it? Not exactly. Martinez was scared. Wanted to warn Blake to be careful, but Blake... Rachel pauses. Blake responded, Thanks. I'll handle it. I'll handle it. Sent at 7:03 p.m., 1 hour after he got the warning. Harold stands, paces. He planned it. Yes. He knew I was DOJ, knew I was investigating. And he assaulted me anyway. Worse. There's another email from Chief Bradley to Blake, day before your hearing. Bradley wrote, Federal prosecutor attending court tomorrow. Harold Cooper. Civil matter. Be professional. Harold stops pacing. Bradley knew too? He knew. He warned Blake. Blake responded, Always am. Then Blake went into that courtroom and did exactly what he did. That's not assault. That's premeditated retaliation, obstruction of justice, civil rights violation. Blake didn't snap. He chose. Harold sits back down. His hands are shaking. There's more, Rachel says. We traced Martinez's phone records. 8 calls between Martinez and Blake the week before your hearing. Text messages, too. Martinez was feeding Blake information about the department investigation. Was Martinez the leak? No. Martinez was getting information from someone else. We're still tracing it. But Harold, this goes deeper. Martinez, Blake, Bradley, they all knew. And they all let it happen. Harold closes his eyes. All those times he wondered, did I do something wrong? Did I somehow provoke this? No. Blake hunted him, waited for him, and struck when he thought nobody would care about another black man getting put in his place. What about the judge? Harold asks. Did he know? No. We checked. Judge Franklin had no idea about your position. That's why he looked so confused when Blake escalated. But he didn't stop it. No, he didn't. Rachel's voice softens. But he's cooperating now. Full statement. He's sick about it. Harold thinks about Judge Franklin's phone call, the apology, the shame in his voice. When does the grand jury hear this? Harold asks. Tomorrow, 9:00 a.m. We're presenting everything. The emails, the phone records, Blake's complaint history, Chief Bradley's pattern of clearing him, and we're recommending charges against all 3. All 3? Blake for assault, civil rights violation, and obstruction. Bradley for conspiracy and negligent supervision. Martinez for obstruction. Harold is quiet. Harold, you still there? Yeah, I'm here. This is it. This is what we needed. Blake doesn't get to claim he didn't know. He doesn't get to say it was a misunderstanding. He knew exactly who you were. And he did it anyway. After they hang up, Harold sits in the dark. Thinks about Marcus Williams. How Blake tased him for no reason. Thinks about Rosa Hernandez. How Blake broke her arm over a $1 candy bar. Thinks about all of them. Blake didn't hurt them by accident. He hurt them because he could, because nobody stopped him, because Chief Bradley cleared him every single time. Harold's phone buzzes. Text from Marcus. Can't sleep, nervous about tomorrow. Harold types back. Me too. But we've got this. Marcus. How do you know? Harold stares at the question. Types. Because this time the truth can't hide. He sends it, lies back down, stares at the ceiling. Tomorrow, Stephen Blake's career ends. Tomorrow, Chief Bradley's career ends. Tomorrow, 23 victims get to tell their stories to a grand jury that will actually listen. Tomorrow, the system works. Harold closes his eyes. For the first time in 2 weeks, he sleeps through the night. The federal courthouse is packed by 8:30 a.m. News vans line the street. Reporters crowd the steps. Protesters hold signs. Justice for Harold. End police brutality. Blake must pay. Harold arrives with Rachel at 8:45. They push through the crowd. Cameras flash. Questions shouted. Harold keeps his head up this time. Doesn't hide. Inside, the grand jury room is on the 3rd floor. Harold isn't allowed in. Witnesses and prosecutors only. He waits in the hallway with Marcus, Rosa, and the others. Emma sits beside him, takes his hand. "Scared?" she asks. "Terrified?" "Good. Means you still care." At 9 a.m. sharp, Rachel enters the grand jury room, 2 other attorneys with her, arms full of files. The door closes. Harold waits. 1 hour passes, then 2. At 11:30, Blake's partner comes out, the one who wore the body cam. His face is pale. Won't look at anyone. At 12:15, Marcus goes in. He's inside for 40 minutes. Comes out wiping his eyes. Harold stands. Marcus nods. "I told them everything." Rosa goes in at 1:00. 35 minutes. She comes out stronger than she went in. One by one, the victims testify. At 3:00, Chief Bradley arrives, flanked by 2 lawyers. He looks smaller than he did on TV. Older. He goes in. Doesn't come out for 90 minutes. At 4:30, the grand jury breaks for deliberation. Harold paces the hallway. Can't sit still. Emma tries to feed him a sandwich. He can't eat. "What if they don't indict?" he asks Rachel. "They will." "But what if—" "Harold." Rachel grabs his shoulders. "We have emails showing Blake knew who you were. We have a body cam showing premeditation. We have 11 prior victims. We have Bradley's pattern of cover-ups. We have everything." They've had everything before. Other cases, other departments, and nothing happened. This time is different. Why? Rachel looks him in the eye. "Because you're still standing. Because 23 people found the courage to stand with you. Because the evidence is undeniable. That's why." At 5:47 p.m., the grand jury foreman sends word. They've reached a decision. Everyone files back into the courtroom. Harold sits in the gallery, front row, Emma on one side, Marcus on the other. The foreman stands, white man, mid-60s, reading glasses. "In the matter of the United States versus Stephen Blake, Officer Blake is indicted on 3 counts: assault under color of law, deprivation of civil rights under 18 U.S.C. 242, and obstruction of justice." The room erupts. Harold closes his eyes, breathes. "In the matter of the United States versus Thomas Bradley, Chief Bradley is indicted on 2 counts: conspiracy to obstruct justice and willful negligence in supervision." Emma squeezes Harold's hand so hard it hurts. "Officer Martinez will not be indicted due to cooperation with investigators." The foreman sits. It's done. Outside, Rachel holds a press conference on the courthouse steps. "Today, a grand jury affirmed what we've known from the beginning. Officer Stephen Blake violated Harold Cooper's civil rights. Chief Bradley enabled that violation through years of looking the other way. But this case isn't just about one assault. It's about a pattern. A system that protected bad officers at the expense of good people." A reporter shouts, "What happens now?" "Now, Officer Blake faces 5 to 10 years in federal prison. Chief Bradley faces 2 to 5 years and loss of pension. And Millbrook Police Department will be placed under federal consent decree. Body cameras will be mandatory. Complaints will be reviewed by an independent board. Training will be reformed. This department will change, or it will answer us." Another reporter, "Mr. Cooper, do you have anything to say?" Harold steps forward. The crowd quiets. "I came to Millbrook to help my mother with a fence. I didn't come looking for this. But Stephen Blake made a choice. He chose to see me as a threat instead of a citizen. He chose violence instead of respect. And because of that choice, 23 other people found the courage to say, This happened to me too. His voice is steady, clear. This case isn't about me. It's about Marcus, Rosa, Patricia, Kevin. All of them. They deserved justice years ago. Today, they're finally getting it. The crowd applauds. Harold steps back. Lets Rachel finish. It's over. Stephen Blake is going to prison. And the system that protected him is being torn down. 8 months later, Stephen Blake is sentenced to 4 years in federal prison. No parole. He doesn't apologize, just stares straight ahead as the judge reads the sentence. Chief Tom Bradley pleads guilty. 18 months. Loses his pension. Millbrook Police Department operates under federal oversight. New chief. New training. Body cameras that can't be deleted. Civilian review board with real authority. 12 victims receive settlements totaling $1.8 million. Harold returns to Millbrook one final time. The fence is gone. Patterson moved it. Emma's garden grows again. Harold stands on the courthouse steps. Same place Blake dragged him down. There's a new sign. Equality under law. He thinks about Marcus, Rosa, all of them. About a system that only listened when forced. Harold drives away. His work isn't finished. There are more Millbrooks, more Blakes, more victims waiting. He'll be back, somewhere. Because that's what you do when the system fails. You make it work, one case at a time. This story started with a fence, ended with a reckoning. Harold never needed a title to deserve dignity, but his title forced the system to face itself. Here's the question. How many suffered before Harold? How many are suffering now? If this moved you, like this video. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories. Comment. Have you witnessed injustice like this? Because silence protects the bullies. Our voices stop them.
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.